Hi, in this third and last video about the official rules of softball, I will discuss to you about the Rule 9 to Rule 12. So sa Rule 9, meron siyang dead ball or ball in play, meron siyang 3 section. Sa Rule 10, the umpires, meron siyang 8 sections. Rule 11, it talks about the protest, meron siyang 7 sections. And for the last is Rule 12, scoring, meron siyang 10 sections. So, let's start. Rule 9, dead ball or ball in play. Section 1, the ball is dead. The ball is dead and not in play in the following circumstances. A. When the ball is bat illegally. So, yung pag-bat ng ball illegally, ibig sabihin, meron kasi iba't ibang klase ng bat ng illegally. Yung pag-slow ng bat, kasi meron kasi iba't ibang process yan eh. When the batter steps from one box to another when the pitcher is FP only, taking the signal or appears to be taking signal from the pitcher's plate, or SP only, steps on the pitcher's plate when no pitch is declared. When a pitch all touches any part of batter's persons or clothing, whether the ball is struck at or not, when a foul play is not caught. When the offensive team causes interference, when a fair battle strikes an umpire or runner. Section 2, the ball is in play. The ball is in play in the following circumstances. A. At the start of the game and each half inning when the pitcher has the ball while standing in his pitching position and the plate umpire has called play ball. So, ibig sabihin, yung opposite ng section 1 sa section 2, the ball is in play. Pag sinabiting the ball is in play, only the umpire merong signal like play ball. Pag ikaw mismo yung nag-pitch without any signal comes from the umpire, that is the ball is dead. So in this section 2, the ball is in play, lahat ng dito ng mga content or mga definition is already opposite to the section 1. Ibig sabihin, mas dali nang intindihan pag ma-explain natin dito yung section 2. When the infield fly rule is enforced, when a thrown ball goes past a fielder and remains in playable territory, when a fair ball strikes an umpire or runner on fair ground after passing a fielder excluding the pitcher and no other fielder had a chance to make an out, or touching a fielder including the pitcher. When a fair ball strikes an umpire on foul ground, when the runners have reached the bases to which they are entitled after the fielder illegally fields a bat thrown a pitcher ball, when a runner is called out for passing a preceding runner, exception when a runner is called out for passing preceding runner while the ball is dead, the ball will remain dead. When no play is being made on the obstructed runner, the ball shall remain alive until the play is over. When a fair ball is legally bat, when a runner must return in reverse order while the ball is in play, when a runner acquires the right to a base by touching it before being out, when a base is dislodged, when runners are progressing around the bases, when a runner runs more than 0.21 meter or 3 feet from his base but in regular or reverse order to avoid being touched the ball in the hand of a fielder. When a runner is tagged or forced out, yung pag ng runner tapos na-tag ng second base or sa home plate, play ball yon. When a leave ball appeal play is legally being made, when the batter hits the ball, when a leave ball strikes a photographer or groundskeeper, policeman, etc. assigned to the game, when a fly ball has been legally caught, when a thrown ball strikes an offensive player, if the batter drops the bat and the ball rolls against the bat in fair territory and the umpire's judgment there was no intention to interfere with the course of the ball, when a thrown ball strikes an umpire, whenever the ball is not dead as provided in section 1 of this rule, when a thrown ball accidentally strikes a coach, when a ball has been called the batter and when four balls has been called but the batter may not put out before the reaches the base. Section 3. Delayed dead ball. There are 5 situations when a violation of the rule occurs and an umpire recognizes it and the ball remains live until the conclusion of the play. These situations are an illegal pitch, catcher's obstruction, plate umpire interference, obstruction, and detached equipment contacting the ball and pitch ball or fair ball battle. Rule 10. Umpires. So, Section 1, Power and Duties. The umpires are the representatives of the league or organization by which they have been assigned to a particular game and such are authorized and required to enforce each section of these rules. They have power to order a player, coach, captain, or manager to do or omit to do any act of within their judgment if it is necessary to give force and effect to one or all these rules and to inflict penalties as herein described. The plate umpire shall have authority to make decisions or any situations not specifically covered in the rules. So, power and duties. So, sa umpires, meron talagang powers and duty and the umpires also has an authorization kung ano yung mga kabuluhan o ano yung mga situation na dapat i-decision ng umpire. Like, yung paano niya i-handle yung game and under doon din yung mga coaches and the management kasi yung umpires siya yung alam niya yung lahat and meron niyang mga powers and duty kaya nakalagay dito sa section 1 which is power and duties, right? Section 2, the plate umpires. So plate umpires shall take a position in back of the catcher. He shall have full charge of and be responsible for and the proper conduct of the game. Shall call all balls, all strikes. Shall by agreement and in cooperation with the base umpire call plays, hit balls, fair or foul, legal or illegal caught balls on plays that would necessitate the ball umpire leaving the infield. The plate umpire shall assume the duties normally required of the base umpire. Shall determine and declare whether batter bunts or chop balls, batter balls touches the persons or clothing of the batter, shall render the base decisions when required to do so, shall determine when a game is forfeited, shall assume all duties when assigned to a simple umpire to a game. Section 3, the base umpire shall take the positions on the playing field as required in accordance with relevant umpire system, shall assist the plate umpire in every way in the enforce rules of the game. So, pagdating umpire, meron kasing iba't ibang klaseng pagtingin sa mga bases, sa home plate. So, meron silang mga distributed duties kung titingnan kung merong mga mali or report all the violations kung meron man sa conduct ng game. Section 4, responsibilities of a single umpire. If only one umpire is assigned, his duties and jurisdiction shall extend to all points. The umpire's starting position for each pitch shall be from behind home plate. On each bat, ball or play that develops, the umpire shall move out from behind the plate and into the field to obtain the best position or any plate that develops. So, responsibility of single umpire. Ito yung pinakamahirap responsibility of single umpire. Kasi from pitcher to the field, kailangan niyang alamin kung anong meron bang mga violations around them towards the playing, right? Section 5, change of umpires. Umpires cannot be changed during a game by the consent of opposing teams unless an umpire is incapacitated by injury or illness. So, change of umpires. Sa pag-change ng umpire, there is no other reasons or factors na pwedeng i-change ang umpire unless meron nasugatan ba siya, natamaan ba ng bola yung mukha niya, or unless na injury ba siya dahil sa pag-pitch ng pitcher, yun. Doon na mismo mag-change ng change umpire without any factors, but without any reason factors, or ano pa ba yan, ng mga reason that is not applicable or that is not valid. Kung meron mang valid reason kung bakit siya na change, yun yung nasugatan siya or meron siyang bleeding na nangyayari sa kanyang mukha or sa kanyang mga katawan. Section 6. Umpire's judgment. There shall be no appeal from any decision of any umpire on the grounds that he was not correct in his conclusion as to what a ball was fair or foul, or a runner safe or out, pitch ball or strike ball, or on play involving accuracy of judgment. So, umpire's judgment. In the playing field, ibig sabihin pag naglalaro na, pag merong mga reklamo sa players ba yan, sa mga coaches ba yan, umpires is always right. Kung safe ba yan or out, safe or out, kung in or out, like that, ibig sabihin yung umpire lang mismo magdesisyon. Hindi pwedeng makadesisyon yung coaches, yung mga players. Umpire lang mismo ang mag-conduct ng tama kung ano ba yan, kung ano ba ang situation na meron. Section 7, signals. To indicate that play shall begin or be resumed, the umpire shall call play ball and at the same time motion of the pitcher to deliver the ball. So, let's make it short. Section 7, signals. Alam naman natin yung signals. Pag sabi ng players na play ball, automatically yung pitchers mag-pitch na into the catcher. Ipasa niya yung bola or i-deliver niya yung bola. So, mga signals, mga basics na yan sa paglalaro ng sa mga basics na yan paglalaro ng mga softball, mga signals like that. So, included din siya sa rule 9 to 12. Section 8, suspension of play. An umpire may suspend play when in his judgment conditions justify such action. Play shall be suspended whenever the plate umpire leaves his position to brush the plate or to perform other duties not directly connected with the calling of plays. The umpire shall suspended whenever a batter or pitcher steps out of the position for a legitimate reason. An umpire shall not call time after pitcher has started to wind up. An umpire shall not call the time while any is in progress. In case of injury, except in the umpire's judgment with a serious injury which may put the player in danger, time shall not be called until all plays in progress have been completed or runners have been held at their base. So, Rule 11, protests. Section 1, protests that will not be received. Protest shall not be received or considered if they are based solely on a decision involving the accuracy of judgment on part of the umpire, or if the team lodging the protest won the game. Example of protests that will not be considered are whether a batter ball was fair or foul, whether a runner was safe or out, whether a pitch ball was strike or a ball, whether a pitch was legal or illegal, whether a runner did or did not touch a base, whether a runner left the base too soon on cuffed fly ball, whether a fly ball was or was not caught legally, whether it was or was not infield fly, whether there was or was not an interference, whether there was or was not an obstruction, whether a player or leaf ball did or did not enter a dead ball area touch to some object or person in dead ball area, whether a bat ball did or did not clear the fence in flight, whether there is insufficient flight to continue play, in either matter involving only the accuracy of the umpire's judgment. So, Section 2, protests that will be received. Protests that shall be received and considered include matters of the following types: misinterpretation of a playing rule, failure of an umpire to apply the correct rule to a given situation, failure to impose the correct penalty for a given violation. Note: one protest for the above must be made before the next pitch or before all infielders have left fair territory or of on the last play of the game before the umpires leave the playing field. After one pitch has been thrown or legally illegal, no change can be made of on any umpire's ruling. Eligibility of a team roster member. Note: protests for the above are to be submitted to the appropriate authority, not the umpires, and may be made at any time subject to the provisions of Rule 11, Section 5. Section 3. Protest involving judgment interpretation of rule. Protest may involve both a matter of judgment and the interpretation of a rule. An example of a situation of this type follows with one out and the runners on second and third bases. The batter flied out. The runner on third tag after catch. The player on second did not. The runner on third crossed the play before the plate. Ball was played at the second base for the third out. The umpire did not allow the run to score. The questions as to whether the runners left their bases before the catch and whether the play at seconds was made before the player on third cross the plate are solely matters of judgment and are not protestable. The failure of the umpire to allow the run to score was a misinterpretation of playing rule and was a proper subject for protest. Section 4. Notification of intent to lodge protest. The notification of intent to protest must be made immediately before the next speech. Exemption: the player ineligibility. The manager or acting manager of the protesting team shall immediately notify the plate umpire that the game is being continued under protests. The plate umpire shall in turn notify the opposing manager and officials scorekeeper. All interested parties shall take notice of the conditions surrounding the making of the decision that will aid in the correct determination of that issues. Section 5. Time to lodge an official protest. The official written protest must be filed within a reasonable time. A. In the absence of the league or tournament rule fixing the time limit for filing a protest should be considered if filed within the reasonable time, depending upon the nature of the case and the difficulty or obtaining the information on which to base the protest. Within 48 hours after the scheduled time of the contest is generally considered a reasonable time. Section 6. Information required for written protest. The formal written protest should contain the following information: A. The date, time, and place of the game. B. The names of the umpires and scorers. C. The rules and section of the official rules or local rules under which protest is made. D. The decision and conditions surrounds the making of the decision. And E. All essential facts involved in the matter protested. And last, for the Rule 11 is Section 7, results of protest. Result na. The decision made on a protested game must resulted in one of the following. The protest is found invalid and the game scored stands as played. When a protest is allowed for misinterpretation of playing rule, the game is replayed from the point at which the incorrection decision was made with the decision corrected. When a protest for ineligibility of a team roster member is allowed, the game shall be forfeited by the offending team. And for the last is the Rule 12, yung scoring na. So sa scoring, meron siyang 10 sections to discuss. So section 1, the official scorer shall keep records for each game as outlined in the following rules. So let's make it the official scorer. Ibig sabihin ng mga official scorer, yung automatically sila yung mga na-assign sa mga scorer from first inning, second innings, third until 7 innings. So sila yung nag-record, right? Section 2, the box score. Each player's name and the position of players to be played shall be listed in order which he but or would have but unless the player is legally substituted, ejected, or removed from the game, or the game ends before his turn at bat. Section 3. Base hits shall not be recorded. Base hits shall not be recorded. A base hit shall not be recorded in the following cases: when a runner is forced out by battle ball or would have been forced out except for a fielding error. When a player fielding a bat ball retires a preceding runner with ordinary effort. C. When a fielder fails in an attempt to retire a preceding runner and, in the scorer's judgment, the batter runner could have been the D. D. When a batter runner reaches first base safely as a result of a preceding runner being called out for interfering the battle with a bat ball or defensive player. Exception. Meron exception. If, in the judgment of the scorer, the batter would have reached first base safely had the interference not occurred, a safe hit shall be credited to the batter. Section 4. Sacrifice fly balls. A sacrifice fly is scored when less than 2 outs. The batter scores a runner with a fly ball which is caught, or the ball of the line drive handled by an outfielder or an infielder. Runner in the outfield is dropped and runner scores, and in scorer's judgment a runner would have scored and after the catch had the fly been caught. Section 5. Run bat in. A run bat in is a run scored because of one of the following reasons: a safe hit, a sacrifice bunt or slap hit. Sacrifice, yung sinabi ko kanina, yung bunt hit, yung parang nilagay lang yung bola sa kanyang harapan, ibig sabihin ni-replace lang yung battle. A foul fly caught, an infield put out on fielder's choice, a runner's force home because of obstruction, the batter being hit with a pitch ball or being given a house balls, a home run, and all runs scored as a result. So, runs bat in. So, naka-include pa dito yung home run, which is yung pag-bat mo out of the fence na, you are considered all a home run na. Section 6. Pitcher credited with a win. A pitcher shall be credited with a win in the following situations. A. When he is a starting pitcher and has pitched at least 4 innings and his team was not only in the lead when he is replaced but remains in the lead the remainder of the game. So, pitcher credited with a win. So, meron, kasi in the playing softball or baseball, tutukan lang tayo sa softball, there are different innings kasi yan, depende sa game. So, mas maganda talaga malaki ang innings para mas intense yung labanan. And B, when a game is ended after 5 innings of play and the starting pitcher has pitched at least 3 innings and his team scores more runs than the other teams when the game is terminated. Section 7. Pitchers charged with a loss. A pitcher shall be charged with a loss regardless of the number of innings he has pitched if he is replaced when his team is behind in the score and his team thereafter fails to tie the score or gain the lead. So, Section 8. The game summary. The summary shall list all the following items in this order: the score by innings and the final score. B. The runs bat in and by whom hit. And letter C. Whom base hits by whom hit. 3 base hits by whom hit. Home runs and by whom hit. Sacrifice flies by whom hit. Double plays and players sacrificed in them. Triple plays and players participating in them. Numbers of walks given by each pitcher. Number of batters struck out by each pitcher. Number of hits and runs allowed by each pitcher. The name of the winning pitcher. The name of the losing pitcher. The time of the game. The names of the umpires and scorers. Stolen bases by whom. sacrifice buns, the names batter seat by a pitch all pitcher who hit them, the numbers of wild pitches made by each pitcher, and the number of fastballs made by each catcher. So yun yung mga games summary. Yung lahat ng mga games na na-apply doon sa playing field is masa-summarize yan. Section 9, stolen bases, FP only. Stolen bases are credited to a runner whenever he advances one base unaided by a hit or put out, an error, first outfielder's choice, a pass ball, a wild pitch, or an illegal pitch. So, nandun yan sa section 9, which is stolen bases. And last, for the rule 12, section 10, records or forfeited games. All records of a forfeited game shall be included in the unofficial records except that the pitchers won, lost record. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga playing na nangyayari doon sa field is also recorded dito sa section 10 ng rules 12, which is the records or forfeited games. And dito na nagtatapos yung discussion ko about sa official rules of softball from rule 1 to 12. So I hope may natutunan kayo, and thank you for watching. See you next week.